All right, so on this, we're going to be trying to understand equivalent fractions. Okay, so notice the pie is cut into 10 pieces. It says cut 3/5. So one way to look at it is to say, all right, so above the line are 5 pieces and below the line are 5 pieces. So I could shade in 3 out of those 5 pieces above. And then below, I could also shade in 3 out of the 5. Now you'll notice, so that would be 3/5. But if you count up all the pieces that are colored in, that are shaded, um, you'll notice that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces out of a total of 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. And so 3/5 and 6/10 are the same thing. Now, if you're not sure about that, we can show it on the calculator. All right, so on the calculator, we can say, all right, well, 3/5, because fractions are just division in disguise, is 0.6, like 60%. So if you attempt 5 free throws and you make 3 of them, that's 60% completion. Or if you do 6 out of 10, well, it's the same thing. It's the same ratio. It's the same fraction. 6 out of 10 is the same as 3 out of 5. So if you do 3 out of 5 2 times, that's, well, 6 out of 10, like we were doing on this guy here. Okay. So getting familiar with fractions is something that is going to be really useful for you, and not just in math classes, but fractions get used a lot, especially because you live in America and we love fractions. We love things like a 9/16 wrench and a 3/32 and a 5/8 and all that, and so yeah, because we don't like metric, right? Because metric is much harder. It's like 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. I mean, who can know what's next? I mean, is it 0.6 or isn't it? Okay, so like I said, let's do one more of these, and so let's try this little guy right here. And so it says it's broken up into 9 pieces. They tell us that, and they say shade in um, 2/3. Okay, so that means that for every 3 pieces, out of every 3 pieces, 2 of them need to be shaded. So out of these first 3 pieces here, I'll shade in 2 of them. Okay, so that takes care of the first 3. Well, what about the next 3 right here? Well, I'll shade in 2 of them. And what about these last 3? Well, I'll shade in 2 of them. Okay, and we can now say that the fraction 2/3 is the same thing as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shaded regions out of 9. So 2/3 of something is the same thing as 6/9 of that same thing. All right, so on this one, we want to simplify fractions. And of course, we're going to use what we just learned, that same kind of idea. Because after all, well, if you're working with a system that involves 50, let's say 54 pieces, and you say, yep, 27 out of those 54 are what we want to, or what we want, people aren't going to want to hear that. They're going to want to hear 1/2. Okay, half of them are what we want, rather than 27/54, right? I mean, isn't this the fraction you'd rather work with? I know it's the one I would rather work with. So let's see how to do this. Okay, so here we go. So we're looking for a number that divides into both of these guys. And don't pick one, because that, yeah, it does divide into both, but it's not going to help. So anything else? Well, there's only one choice in this case, and that's going to be 7. So if I divide 7 into 21, which means I have to divide it into 49 as well. Well, 21 divided by 7 is 3, and 49 divided by 7 is 7. So 21/49 is the same thing as 3/7, and you can check it on your calculator like I was doing a few minutes ago. And let's do one more. Okay, so what divides into 20 and 8? Well, you could say that 2 divides into them. I mean, after all, they're both even, right? And that would work. And 20 divided by 2 is 10, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. But notice that they're both even. They're still both even, and therefore I can still divide a 2 into both of them. And I get 5 halves. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So what happened, well, one of the things that happened there is we divided by 2, and then we divided by 2 again. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, so we could have sped things up just a little if we had seen it, and if you don't, it's not a big deal. We could have said, well, let's just divide by 4. Let's divide by both 2's all in one shot. 20 divided by 4 still gives you the 5, and 8 divided by 4 still gives you the 2. So you get the same answer, you just get there one step quicker. But if you do it this way, it's okay. You're still going to get the right answer. Just make sure you divide everything in that you can so that you get the very simplest form. Okay. Now, pretty soon though, I mean, if you're doing it this way, pretty soon you will want to get to this way. Okay, because that will make other things that you do easier to do. So, this is certainly the direction you want to go. So look for the biggest number you can that divides into both numbers. And then that will go well for you. Okay? All right.